Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Rich Perez welcoming you back into another weekly dose of the rundown. Join in with me, as always, my brother from another, my co-host all the way from the I still got to get used to saying that. Kayson Davis, how you doing, Kay?
I'm doing good today, man. How are you doing?
I am doing all right. Can't complain. Can't complain. It was at work today. It was a half day, so I got some much needed rest at about 12 o'clock. So yeah, I'm doing good, man. I'm loving it.
That's great, man. I'm glad you had a great day. I mean, mine wasn't a half day; it was a full day, but I went home half of the way and worked from home the rest of the day. So, I guess that's good.
Can't complain. That is fire. That is fire. So it is football season. So we talk some football. So my thoughts go out to my man Jameis Winston. That was definitely hurting my heart because that man was very fun to watch. I was hoping this was going to be the comeback season. Saints did still beat Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, however, with Trevor Siemian at quarterback, not playing that well. And this is what I've been saying, and is why I said Jameis is going to be all right this year, because Sean Payton gets the most out of his quarterbacks, whether it's Kerry Collins when he was the offensive coordinator with the New York Giants. We could talk about Taysom Hill over there now. You can talk about when Teddy Bridgewater was there for 5 games. When he went 5-0. Jameis was playing solid football, and then Trevor Siemian goes out there and plays well. I don't want to get into this, but that kind of poses the question about how good Drew Brees really was. But I that's a conversation for another day, though. Um, yeah, but I mean, the one I wanted to get into with that game is they gave Tom Brady the ball back with like a minute something left, and pick six to pretty much ice the game. How about that? You when Tom Brady gets the ball back with a minute something, even 50 something seconds left, you expecting his team to win.
Yeah, I mean, but it happens to the best of us. It happens. Things happen like that sometimes. Obviously, we've seen him be great in those moments, but with great success comes great failure sometimes. So you win some, you lose some. Yeah, I wouldn't chop it up to anything but that. It happens sometimes, man.
Yeah, this week was also the week of the backup quarterback. We just talked about Trevor Siemian. Cowboys win with Cooper Rush. Geno Smith goes out and gets a win for Seattle. And then the New York Jets. This kid Mike White comes in. He goes out and balls. They upset the Cincinnati Bengals, who we've been saying are legit players this year. How about that? So then the question is like, all right, we got this young kid, Mike White, who just went out and balled, but we drafted Zach Wilson with the second overall pick.
Yeah, definitely. What the Jets got? Was that their second win of the season? So that was
Yep.
at the
Yep.
shout out to the Jets, man. Shout out to White for going out there and getting that dub. I still think you trust in your second pick and see how it goes. He's still a young quarterback, but it's good to see White get out there and get a win for them. They really needed win for the Jets. So it'll be interesting though if he ends up taking the quarterback spot.
That would be super interesting. Like, very crazy. Kind of, I can't think of I'm sure there's a situation out there, but because Mike White's not a veteran quarterback. He might be in like his second year in the league, possibly even first. But I know he had never started a game before up until this past Sunday. So he's pretty brand new in this.
I mean, that's what you call making the best out of your opportunity that you were given. He got the opportunity to go out there and ball, and he went out there and balled. So shout out to him.
Tom Brady style. So the trade deadline was today, and the big news that we saw, not today, but yesterday, is that the Rams traded for Von Miller. And not only did they trade for Von Miller, but they didn't give up much to get him. Couple late round picks. And on top of the fact that they're late round picks, the Broncos are paying some of his salary. I already said that the Rams were Super Bowl contenders, and I believe that they were going to the NFC Championship. I think they're probably going to go to the Super Bowl now. Like, you got Aaron Donald and Von Miller up front. Then you got Jalen Ramsey in the back. That defense is crazy. And then you got Matt Stafford and you got Matt Stafford and Cooper Cup killing it. Like, nah, man, the mind that Sean McVay is, the Rams are going to the Super Bowl.
I would agree. Obviously, I was talking to you right before we came on here. Ron Miller is a former Super Bowl MVP, and on that defense in the last couple of years, Denver maybe hasn't been the best team over there. So I think getting him over there in a team that's going to be in Super Bowl contention again, I think that's going to be great for him. I think that's going to motivate him to play. I wouldn't say he was playing bad, but being on, you know how it is being on a bad team and being on a good team, especially when you're a good player. So I think get him back over there with that good team, he's gonna be even more motivated than maybe he was. So I think that's something that's gonna be dynamic over there. And I would maybe take him to go to the Super Bowl right now too.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna say it right now. It's Rams, Packers, because Aaron Rodgers is my man's, and they're playing some great. They got the 1 seed in the NFC. It's gonna be Rams, Packers, and while I'm picking the Packers, a little homer bias here. I hope the Packers go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about the last couple of years, the Packers have kind of been like a lock to almost make it to their conference championship game. It's just they couldn't get over that hump. I probably unfortunately wouldn't pick them to win it this time. So we'll see how it goes, man. Maybe this looking like obviously Aaron Rodgers' last run over there. So maybe there's something special and they go out with a bang.
Hey, we're over here pitching for Aaron Rodgers to come over in free agency. So great segue because Tim Welsh is in here and he feels our pain. The New York Giants played the Kansas City Chiefs on Monday Night Football. And the Kansas City Chiefs have not had a great season by any stretch. The defense is not that good. The offense seems a bit broken. The Giants legitimately could have won that game last night. And this is what I mean about team dynamics here. When you got Joe Judge, head coach, who's just terrible with clock management, Jason Garrett with this 2004 playbook, no innovativeness to it at all. I mean, let's look at it because I watched when the Mannings, shout out to the Manning cast, even though they stole our show. That's how we're going to do it. They stole our show. Let's keep it real. But shout out to the Manning. I always watch the Manning cast on Monday nights when they're on because it's just fun to watch. You see Peyton Manning, what I think it was when, Patrick Mahomes throws a pick in the end zone. Giants get the ball. Then Daniel Jones is staring his target down and he gets picked off. And Peyton Manning is sitting there saying, why are you staring him down like that? This is the type of stuff I mean about the quarterback and why it's time to move on, why I can't believe in it. And I'm not saying he's bad. I'm not saying he's bad, but I just believe personally he's an NFL quarterback, most likely second string on the depth chart, but he's an NFL quarterback. It's time to move in another direction because specifically at the end of this game, it was all about putting the team on your back, and getting things done. And we can't deal with the excuses no more because he's got it all as far as offense goes. Again, the offensive line isn't great, not terrible either. And he gets sacked twice pretty much and holding on to the ball instead of getting rid of it. So now you're moving back a bunch of yards. Like, it's a whole lot of mess that needs to get cleaned up. And at the end of this season, a lot of people need to go. Of course, I always root for them to win, but let's be realistic here. It's going to be a top pick. Now, again, my whole thing is get a vet in here, preferably Aaron Rodgers. That's what I would like to do. But get a vet in here, possibly draft a guy, but more than anything, get a vet so I can buy that blue 12 jersey once free agency's over. But yeah, they got a lot to do, man. And it starts with a bunch of firings. GM Dave Gettleman got to go because this is what he put together. I don't even believe in Joe Judge like that, man. He had me all fired up last season, but you are what, as the great Bill Parcells once said, you are what your record says you are. And he is well under 500.
Yeah, definitely. I think the end of last season, it gave you some hope. And I was saying earlier in this season, with the way the end of last season, you might want to give the guy a chance. Maybe there's something there, which may not be a good thing, but maybe there's something there where he can motivate guys after they're down a little bit or something. But I agree. We've talked about the Giants on here too many times at this point. And it's kind of been more of the same thing. Obviously, Gellerman has to go, and some changes need to be made. Obviously, like you said, the offensive line is still not great, and there's got to be maybe some quarterbacks out there. Obviously, you brought up Aaron Rodgers. If Deshaun Watson can get whatever's going on to him figured out and he's clear and none of those issues are true, then he might be out there. That's another quarterback for the Giants. I see Tim said that when you were talking about Daniel Jones that he's not a Giant. So obviously, quarterback is in need. Like you said, there's weapons out there. So what happened with Saquon Barkley? I seen that picture of his
He'll be
ankle.
back. He has a sprained ankle, but he'll be back.
Yeah, so the weapons are there. Everyone just has to stay healthy and maybe get a new quarterback and a new GM in there. But that's things that we have talked about for a while now. We've been saying that this is the year for Daniel Jones. He's on the hot seat, and it's looking like he's just not going to be the quarterback of the future.
No, but knowing the Giants, I would not be shocked at all if he was back next year. My hope is that they wise up and make the changes necessary, but would not be shocked at all if he's back next year. Let's move on to the Chiefs in this game. They did get a win. They're now 4-4. But watching that game and just watching what they did, and the Giants defense played well. Adoree Jackson is one of the people that can keep up with Tyreek Hill. He did a very good job of that. They did a lot of double teams on Travis Kelce, and it worked very well. Travis Kelce even fumbled the ball, and the Giants got possession there too. But just watching the Chiefs, their problems aren't fixed from that win. I'm still not. They won that game to kind of save their season a little bit because they're in it for the division. But I'm still not a believer in them as far as making any run in the playoffs this season. I don't think any of their problems are fixed by any stretch.
If anything, I think this may bring up more questions. Obviously, the Giants are not a great team this year. So being that close with the Giants may bring up. Obviously, the Chiefs haven't been good either, but I think this brings up more questions. Like they got the win and they needed the win, and sometimes you gotta claw out wins, and all that matters is the win. But like you said, it didn't look like a performance where it's like, okay, these guys are going back to the Super Bowl or maybe winning 8 straight, like you said at one point. But that's another discussion for another time. So yeah, I think it brings up more questions. It should be I don't want to say a dominant win against the Giants, because shout out to the Giants, but the way the two teams were going and should be going, that game shouldn't have been that close.
Yeah, shout out to Tim because I actually talked to Tim about this. I think this morning. I wasn't surprised that the Giants kept it close because, again, the Chiefs' defense really wasn't that great. So I was expecting the Giants to score, and that's what I mean about they were in a position to win. And as he said in the chat, there was a couple times where they had that game won. Penalties cost you and things like that. And then again, your quarterback not stepping up to pretty much ice the game. But honestly, for me, it's more questions about their offense. It's not too much about their defense because we know what their defense is. Yeah, like Patrick Mahomes does all this amazing stuff, and I think they even brought this up on the Manning cast as well. Those crazy throws that he makes they do get him in, especially now that he doesn't have the protection that he's had in the past. They get him in trouble a lot. That's the exact reason why he has so many picks this year, because he's very reckless with the football.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, well, that's the thing. We talked about it before. The defense was never amazing, but it was good enough when you have that high power of an offense. And if the offense is not going to be that high power, then it's just going to be an issue. Obviously, not. We've seen the issue in the Super Bowl when that offensive line is not good with the injuries they had, and then coming into this year, if the offensive line is not good, that's going to cause them too much problems. Like you said, those passes are good when he can get them off and things like that, but when he's scrambling too much and things like that, it's just not that good.
Yeah, definitely 100%. Before we move on from football, one of the other big things that we got from this past week, what you had something else?
No, well, Tim, if you're still in here, let's let Tim call up if he wants to call up. let Tim, if he has something to say.
More than welcome.
So, Tim, if you want to call up and say something, let us know. But you can keep going, Rick.
Well, I was gonna say Derrick Henry had surgery on his foot. Now it's possible that he comes back this season, but that's a huge loss for the Tennessee Titans. Like that offense definitely was not. Ryan Tannehill's a big part of that offense. He's played very very good since taking over that job. You know, it was a big reason why they played in the AFC Championship. But that a big reason why that offense is so successful is because of Derrick Henry. So he's going to be out at least for a good chunk of the season, if not the entire season. And the big news is they signed Adrian Peterson to replace him. And AP is kind of like, well, Frank Gore's retired now, but AP is kind of on that Frank Gore track where he's just still kind of doing it, man. So shout out to AP because I've always been a big AP fan, and yeah, you know, like we'll see how what that offense looks like with AP in that backfield.
Yeah, definitely. Shout out to Derrick Henry. Hopefully he gets healthy soon. And they should hopefully they can hold down the fort until he gets back. I mean, they made that Julio Jones trade over the summer, so you think that the offense can kind of keep things up with him out there. And then Adrian Peterson, if he can be, oh Tim, you got to call one of us. We're gonna send you a number. Do you have yours hooked up?
Yeah, let us know. Let us know before we move on.
You do
Because
you have
I definitely want to hear that take.
do you have your set up where he can call you or he can call me? I
He
think
can
mine.
call me. He
All
can
right.
call me.
All right, Tim. We gonna
Was last time what the issue when Meach called? What the I don't know because we did have an issue when Meach called that we couldn't hear him for a little bit.
yeah. Either or.
Yeah, yeah, he can
If
try. He can try. I'm all for it.
yeah,
Uh,
I got my mixer set up too. He can so either one of us can go. All right, Tim. We gonna send you a number. Send you got Tim's number.
I don't. I do not have Tim's number.
All right. I might have Tim's number, but yeah, I think they should be able to hold down that offense while he's gone. Obviously, he's a big part of their offense, and it's hard for other teams.
Hit me
Now,
next week. Hey, if you, hey, we could try it, man. We are down. We are down for the cause. If you want to try it this week, because that is one spicy take right there. I am all for it.
we can get it done today. We just this was on the fly, so we wasn't prepared. But we have two. If Riches doesn't work, Monster work. So,
Yeah, yeah. Most def.
but yeah, that's what I have to say about that. The offense should be able to hold it down. Derrick Henry's a big part of the offense, but they should be able to hold it down without him. That's what you bring Julio Jones in for.
Yeah. So do you have his number? Because he's with it.
Yeah, I'm gonna send him your number right
Okay, cool. Yeah, tell him to just call in. It'll come right up on the laptop.
now. Do. Uh, besides that, you have anything to say while we wait for Tim to call up?
Um, I actually believed for a second that the Cincinnati Bengals were gonna win the AFC North. Oh, you know what, man? You know what? There's this crazy thing going on with the Browns and Odell. Odell did not get traded. You know, they unlike Gettleman, they did bring Odell in to not trade him. You know, so he's low key got like some type of beef with Baker Mayfield right now. And I'm not gonna lie, I've watched the tape. There is a lot of film where Odell Beckham is just straight up open and Baker's not getting him the ball. His dad had posted the film as
Oh, I
well.
was about to say, are you
And
talking about that YouTube video? I
yeah,
see.
well, his dad posted it on Instagram, Odell Beckham Sr. And somebody commented that like, oh, that Baker's just hating on Odell. He don't want him to get any shine. And then the dad comments with 3 check marks. So I don't know what's going on over there, man, because it's extremely weird. Because he's talking like, oh, we just got to find ways to get him the ball. We got different like things going on over here, but they traded for Odell for a reason. Like he is special. We know we seen him in New York. We know how special he is with what he was, the things he was able to do in New York. No offensive line and Eli Manning, whose career was on the back burner at that point. Like you know he can get it done. It's just a matter of him staying healthy, and he's healthy right now. And it's been his whole tenure in Cleveland just with Baker. Like I don't know, they're just not clicking.
Yeah, but we seen that. Remember when he went down? I think it was last year, and their team just looked better without him. Wherever the case may be. Oh, Rashard said he's here. Oh, he's here for the Nick talk.
Get into it, baby. Get into it. Hang tight, hang tight. We got one more thing to get through with this football. And we definitely in there. That's first on the list.
uh,
Who I have
yeah,
to call? Rashad, when we get all right, Rashad, when we get it, when it's time to get to the Knicks, you're calling. I'm pulling you out of retirement. Like, call me when we get to the Knicks conversation. I'm dead serious.
What was I about to say? Yeah, we seen their team look better last year after Odell went down. They just look better without him. So we seen it. We don't know what's going on exactly, but they look better without him in every sense when you think about it.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I mean, they went to the playoffs without him, but at this point in time, there's no Jarvis Landry. I think Jarvis Landry's still hurt, isn't he? Anybody in the chat, y'all can help me out with that. But Jarvis Landry's still hurt. Like, the weapons aren't outstanding. Like, he's got good weapons, but they're not outstanding where you shouldn't be skipping Odell with, as far as the rotation of who's getting the ball and who's not.
Yeah, definitely. But I don't know what's going on. Maybe they have some other beef that we don't know what's going on. Like you said, I don't. That team should have obviously been better with him. And then after the run that they made last year, you add him to that, they should be better. But as you see, like sometimes with him, it's not working out. And maybe just one of those things where it's just not working out. So, but they have looked better without him. Well, no matter, we don't know what it is, but they have looked better without him.
Yeah, no, 100%, 100%. Tim, where you at, man? Come on, let's go. Let's get to it.
Well, we can get back to Tim since Rashard's here and we talking to Knicks. Let's go.
Want to do it? Don't call me yet. Don't call me yet.
We are the New York Knicks. Go New York, go New York, go! Go New York, go New York, go! Say go New York, go New York, go! Go New York, go New York, go!
Go New York, go New York, go. This Knicks team is something different. I am not gonna lie. We was on the pre-show. We was on the pre-show, and I said like all the shit, the trash talking that has been done over the years, it might be coming to a close because they are looking. This isn't like that one year right after when they traded Melo and Porzingis was going off, and I think they won like 5 straight or something like that, and then like they went right back down to earth. Like, this is real. Number one, this is real from the team dynamic. Like, Jules looks great. RJ Barrett just keeps growing. Like, he had the career high 35 the other night, and hit the game, pretty much the game winner, iced the game for him. He's growing. You got the hometown kid Kemba back at point guard. The dynamic between him and Derrick Rose is just something great. Like, having those two together on that court, between Derrick Rose being a 6 man, him as the starting point guard, and them playing together. They're healthy. They're healthy. They're one of the top defenses in the league. Like, and they're good. Not only are they good, but because everybody says it's got to sell seats. It's got to sell seats. So not only are they good, but from a marketing standpoint, they're killing it because they just released the City Edition jerseys and you revolved it completely around Kemba Walker, which I love because, again, it's the hometown kid thing. They've been doing it with him. And yeah, I don't know what to say, man. Like, I'm a believer. I'm not going to lie. Like, you ready for this, Kay? Because, again, the great Bill Parcells once said it. You are what your record says you are. They're the best team in New York.
I am not going to go that far. But before we get Rashard to come on here, last season, you guys tried to get me to say the whole season that the Knicks are back. I kept telling you guys, hold on, they're not back yet. But it's official. The Knicks are back, yeah.
They were back last year.
No, like I said,
the energy was there. They were in the playoffs, which we hadn't seen in a decade. They were back last year, but they really back this year. Shout out, waiting on you. I am waiting on you.
Just call Rich. Call his phone number. But
yeah, call me.
They were not
the phone call.
They were not back last year. They were on their way back. They are back now. They learned from. Shout out to their GM and stuff because they've learned from their mistakes in the playoffs. They had trouble scoring the ball in the playoffs. Julius Randle being your only option. He's never been there before. RJ Barrett being young. You go out there, you get Kemba Walker, someone who can score.
Guest is in the building. Guest is in the building. Can we hear him?
Is he talking?
What's going on, y'all?
We can hear him. We good? We can hear him. I hear him. I hear him. We can all hear him.
I hear him.
Hokage is in the building. Hold up. Drop a bomb for Shad.
I love it. First off, before I go in, I just want to say what's going on, the rundown. Shout out to Nino, Kayson, and everything. It's been a while since since I've been up and everything. I just want to say before I start, Kayson, shout out to you. What's going on with everything that you've been doing? You know what I'm saying? I love it, bro. You up there. Rich, you doing big things too. Everybody's winning. 2021 is, is looking up. 2020 was, we don't want to talk about it. But after that, let's just get into it. Listen, the Knicks are back. We are back. Go New York. Go New York. Go. Diehard fan right here. And I'm so happy that Kayson said it. I'm so happy they said it because it's been decades in the making. Y'all already know what we've been through and everything. Tibbs got us playing in such a miraculous. I can't even. Oh my God, I can't even talk right now. I'm just so excited. Tibbs just got the team playing so good. We were playing good with the roster we had. Then we upgraded the point guard position. We traded in Reggie Bullock for Evan Fournier, a guy that can not only shoot but create a shot off the dribble, which is what we missed in the playoffs. Year 3 of RJ is looking amazing. It's just so good to see, honestly. And with these last 3 games of RJ really stepping it up, I can't ask for anything more. It's what Knicks fans wanted from a top 3 pick that we had. And as soon as we made the pick, I always knew he was going to be great. But to see what's going on right now, I know we took the L. But to see RJ's development has been crazy. My question for the host of the show is, where do you see us going? Because in terms of record-wise, in terms of standing, because I'm not going to hold you. I got us getting the 50 burger right now. I got us at the 4th seed to maybe 3 seed if possible, but the 4th seed is definitely for us right now. What do you guys think? Let me hear it.
He's talking that, yo. He's talking. Double bombs for Shad. I got him as a top 4 seed.
Get the bomb, baby, get the bomb.
I got him as a top 4 seed. Legitimately, I have him as a top 4 seed. I think that them and the Bulls are very on par with each other. I think that those 2 teams are going to be fighting for that 4th seed. But I am 100% a believer. I love the team dynamic. I love what Tibbs is doing. It's one thing because they were hiring a lot of pretenders as far as coaching goes since they let go of Mike Woodson. But between who's the last dude's name?
That the Knicks had?
Dave Fizdale and Jeff Hornacek.
Yeah, Hornacek was who I was talking about. But Fizdale was another pretender because he was this player's coach and everything. And I like Fizz, but as a head coach, you know what I mean? It's the same thing I say in the NFL with coordinators. Sometimes you're just a better coordinator than you are a head coach. That's what I think about when I think of Fizz. So a lot of pretenders, even the interim coach that they had. Again, pretenders. We know what my man is. What Tibbs is as a head coach because of what he's done at all of his stops. Even when he was an assistant coach in Boston, he was on that championship team, that Bulls team. Me and Kay got into arguments about just how good that Bulls team was with Derrick Rose, Joakim Noah, Luol Deng was on that team. The Eastern Conference finalists haven't really. I mean, they're killing it now, but before this year, they really weren't the same without him. Then Minnesota, the first time they made the playoffs since they had big ticket KG over there, and he goes and look at them, they're struggling again. So you get a good coach in there, good things happen. I'm not gonna lie, the front office is right too. So they're just doing my thing. I actually got a question for you because I remember you were very strong on RJ Barrett remaining at the 2. How you feeling about him at the 3?
Honestly, the way he plays defense, the fact that he is a bigger, taller guard and he has the strength to go along with it, with the lateral quickness. Listen, I really feel like RJ can strive at the 2 or the 3. because in this day and age of positionless basketball, like it really doesn't matter per se because switches happen all the time. You put him at the 2 or the 3, he's going to be elite. And I feel like the 3 is good for what the team needs right now. I still want him to be at the 2. I probably still want to be at 2. But having put him with Evan Fournier, that extra floor spacing for him to work, I'm okay with the 3. I'm okay with the 3. We'll see what the Knicks do down the road and everything like that. Yes, Evan Fournier's on a $72 million deal. And you know what I'm saying? Today's age, you can trade anybody for anything. But RJ's going to be good no matter where he's at. So, listen, I'm okay with it. He's going off right now. So, that's just how I feel about it.
I can second that. Like he said, a lot switches happen a lot in the league, and really, it's certain matchups. So like throughout the season, you can get away with certain things. It's just you don't want him probably guarding KD. You know what I mean? It's just you don't want him in situations like that. So you would probably flip him back and forth between the 2 and the 3, but you can get away with it in a lot of cases nowadays. Especially like you said, positionless basketball. A lot of
Wait,
people
you
don't
said
smoke.
KD? I'm sorry, I can't hear you. You said
Yeah,
KD?
you don't want him guarding KD.
I mean, listen, you don't want. I mean, listen, KD is he's a top 5 player in the league right now. He's unguardable. So anybody guarding KD is going to be a hell of a night. But I feel you. I feel you.
Yeah, definitely. So
When's the first game against Brooklyn?
Oh, hold on, I gotta look that up. Yes, when is that game?
I need
That
that.
game is November 30th, and we are in the Barclays Center, but it means nothing because it's gonna be nicked out.
Right.
It's going to be nicked out. We
That's
run
right.
the city. That's still Jersey. That's still Jersey. They're new here.
He's right. He's right. Can't dispute it at all. And I mean, they're struggling. No Kyrie Irving. They are struggling. I did
Yo, talk about the foul rule. Talk about the foul rule, baby.
the
Come
Harden
on now.
rule.
The Harden rule. It's been effective. Yo, listen, I know he got like a lot of good fouls the last game or whatever, but listen, it's going to play a factor, and you've seen it so far. And y'all can't deny that overall, if y'all watch games outside of your favorite teams, I know y'all have, the flow of every NBA game has been just better. Just the flow. It's been pure basketball. So I love the new rule, and I love that it's hold on, let me keep PG. I love that it's messing with, you know what I'm saying, the across the bridge rival. You feel me? Like I love it. I love it.
you
It
can
was
call,
it was funny to me how Steve Nash tried to play it off like that rule wasn't intended for James Harden either. But I mean, yeah, if you're a fan of basketball, and you're not the first one that said it either. I think even players in the league have mentioned it. Like I think Trae Young's mentioned it. I want to say Draymond's mentioned it as well. But yeah, like it's fun to be able to watch the game and not have to see it get stopped because of like ticky tack fouls. That's what I like to say.
I was gonna say you can call it the Trey Young rule too. He's been struggling a lot.
And not for nothing. Listen, yes, it's affecting Harden, Trae Young, who else is you know what I'm saying, who always bait fouls. But at the end of the day, they are elite scorers. They will figure it out, but it's going to be for the benefit of the fans, honestly. And I'm so happy the NBA thought about the fans. So it's a good rule. Let's hope that, you know what I'm saying, there's been other rules in the past that, you know, the NBA implemented and everything like that, and it kind of falls off mid-season, late season, playoffs. But if they keep this going, every fan's going to love it because it's pure basketball. And like, and you guys have seen it. If you guys, and I know y'all watch the games, guys go for pump fakes. Yes, the guy jumps, but they're not, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're not trying to jump into the guy. The defensive player just resets, and it's just more fluid basketball. And you know what I'm saying? It's just great for the league, great for the fans, and great for the overall product that put on the floor.
I think the Olympics is a big factor why the rule got changed. You see when those guys were struggling, they were complaining about how different the rules are and how more physical it is. I think the NBA saw that and realized they need to make a change.
Yeah.
You know, Kayson, I'm so happy you brought that up because I forgot what I was watching or what I read, but I literally remember like whatever I saw, right? They said, you know what I'm saying, the dream team came up and everything like that, right? European players couldn't handle the physicality of basketball. So like they kind of adjusted to how like basketball is being played. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you follow through on your shot attempts close to the basket. You shoot through your actual 2s and 3s and everything like that. And then we pass with Team USA, they're used how the NBA is just giving those fouls and they weren't getting them, which had to do with a lot with the early losses. But you know, we still got gold, but and you know what I'm saying? Like, And I can see why the NBA also made that change, so it gets the players used to when they actually go overseas, like they're gonna know and everything. They're gonna know like, yo, you can't do that. And yeah, there was a video on Instagram about like Zach LaVine. I'm pretty sure it was Zach LaVine or Jason Tatum, one of those dudes. They were like training with a person who actually played in the European style of basketball, knowing what's good, what's not. So it's overall just gonna help the product overall.
Yeah, if you remember when Luca first came over and they asked him how he was dominating so easy, he said the overseas is way more physical. So when he came here, it was easy for him to make the adjustment.
Yeah, super easy, super easy. And it's wild that a kid who was, how old was he at the time he made that comment? 20,
19,
19?
19,
And
18,
to
19.
say that, it's like, I know the people in the higher ups of the NBA were like, whoa, like that's not good. That's not a good look on our league. So, changes are made and just for the better.
So two more questions before we move on from this. One,
of course, two more questions. All the Knicks fans in the chat, if you're from New York, please stand up. You know what I'm saying? Drop the Statue of Liberty in the chat right now. Please, I'm here. I'll always give that New York talk. It's New York everything over here. So, yeah. Let's fire with two questions, man.
who do you want more in the playoffs? Atlanta or Brooklyn?
Ooh, that's a good question. So, the Knicks fan in me honestly would want both. Honestly, both carry a huge significance right now. My early season overreaction, give me Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? 7 games in. We're only 7 games in. Knicks fans, you already know, you know what I'm saying, overreaction right now. Give me Brooklyn right now. But what I really want to see, I'm not going to lie. Give me that rematch with Atlanta. We're playing them Christmas Day. You know what I'm saying? Adam Silver knows where the money is at. They know what happened with that, what happened in the playoffs. They know the Knicks fans' reaction. With this new roster right now, I really feel like we will match up better with them because we have Mitchell Robinson back. Clint Capella isn't going to have an easy 15 to 16 boards every time with easy lobs to give him 15 to 20 points. We have more creation. We have more shot creation with Kemba Walker, Evan Fournier, RJ Barrett showing his elite defensiveness and all that. And also, this is just me saying, we have one of the best benches in the league with Derrick Rose, Emmanuel Quickly, Obi Toppin has been stepping it up. I know IQ has been like, you know what I'm saying? It's slow for him right now, but he's a shooter. Shooters are going to figure it out. He's just in a slump right now. So, overreaction, give me Brooklyn, but realistically, I want Atlanta because I feel like we can really match up good with them with the new additions and how healthy the roster is.
I feel like that's
number one. Bang. Bing bong.
I feel like that's beef too. Like Trey been talking mad spicy. We was calling him New York's new Reggie Miller after that series last year. So I feel like it's got to be Atlanta.
I mean, realistically, it has to be Atlanta.
The chat that we had. So chat, we have, me and Nino are in the group chat and everything. We put it in the chat. Trae Young went back to the Garden for the WWE. And you know what I'm saying? He was actually, you know what I'm saying? There was a few cheers, actually. You know what I'm saying? So, I want him back in the Garden. I want him to feel the pressure with this new roster. I want to see it.
Realistically, it has to be Atlanta if you guys want to win a playoff series. But for the hype, it would be Brooklyn. I said, but for the hype, it would be Brooklyn.
Kayson, you know what I'm saying? I respect that from Kayson. Give it, a straight shooter.
And
you know what I'm saying? Realistically, obviously, Knicks fans feel that way, and Atlanta is our easiest. Not, I wouldn't say our easiest, but our most likely chance to get to the second round and everything like that. But also, if the Knicks are going to be a 4 seed or a 5 seed, that means Atlanta will have to be the 5th seed or possibly. If we're the 4th seed, what do the 4th seed play? They play the 6th seed? No, the 4th seed plays the 5th seed.
4 and 5 play first round.
Huh?
4 and 5 play first round.
Yeah, 4 and 5 play first round. 6 plays 3, 2 plays 7, 1 plays 8. So if Atlanta's the 3rd seed, we might not even see them first round. You know what I'm saying? So we don't know. It's too early. So, but Yo, give me Trey. Give me Trey.
Knicks, because I said Knicks and Bulls probably fighting for that fourth. So Knicks Chicago would be pretty fire first round too. But I digress. I don't want to dig into that one. I did have my second question because the City Edition jerseys came out. The Knicks joints is cool. You know what I'm saying? They cool. But when are y'all bringing these back? When you bringing the black trim joints back? I feel like the world needs to see that again.
Wait, the black sides for the 99 playoff run?
99, and then y'all brought him back for that team that Melo was on, those early years with Melo.
Oh, man. Listen, that's a classic right there. Honestly, I hope we bring him back, but realistically, honestly, it's got to be some more time in between. Like, we'll probably see that in, like, you know what I'm saying, 2024, 2025. I love those jerseys so much, but it's going to be a while. But they would look dope. And on top of that, if you play 2K, you can actually use those. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, 2K be talking to the people on every team, so they're not lost, but we'll get them back soon.
Right on, man. Shout out to Shad in the building, man. Talking that Knicks talk. I love it. We're going to have some more people on here. My younger brother's in here. He got to come on here and speak his piece. Probably. We're going to get into it next week. We'll talk about the Knicks again next week. Maybe he can jump on with us for that one.
Wait, before Rashad goes, I just have to.
Hold on. Kayson.
Come on. New York, stand up, please.
Kayson got one for you. Kayson got one for you.
Nah, I just want to. I want to bring up the fact that one of those losses are to the Orlando Magic. So shout out to the Magic. Hashtag Magic together. You feel me? We here.
You know what makes me mad about that one? We handled y'all the first time. We handled y'all, but you know what I'm saying? I came back to the Garden. I don't know what happened, but you know.
You want to hear a funny story? So I'm on the court before the game, and there's some Knicks fan that's like in the crowd, but he's like courtside, and Derrick Rose is warming up, and he keeps screaming, "This is a home game for us, D Rose. This is a home game for us," because there was mad Knicks fans in the crowd.
Yo, Knicks fans are everywhere. So listen, we live in y'all cities, and we also travel. So listen, there'll always be a Knicks fan at the away game, and I love it because I would bring that same energy if I was there. That same one.
Love it, man. Love it. Shout out to Shad. Appreciate you coming on. Definitely got to do that one again, man.
Of course. I'm happy you guys had me. I love the show. I love that y'all always are consistent. More prosperity for both of y'all. I hope you guys go farther in both y'all careers and do everything big, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat right now. Drop a like for your boy. Follow, share, do all that because these guys know what they're talking about. They not just sports fans. They know about the sports they talk about. They know the details. They do the research, and they come with non-biased opinions. So if y'all been watching the show, keep watching the show because it's a good show, y'all.
Appreciate it.
Everybody in New York, make sure you keep sharing. I need more New York people in the chat versus anywhere else. There might be some Orlando fans there now, but New York will always be there.
You already know what time it is, so appreciate it, Shad. We will catch you. So that was my boy Shad Cooper in the building.
Obviously, a super New York fan.
Super New York fan. Like you gotta see, like, catch a Knicks game with that guy. You're gonna enjoy your time there. I promise. I've done it. Not even a Knicks fan, but I promise I've done it. News came out today with the Philadelphia 76ers growing more frustrated because Ben Simmons, after this whole heart-to-heart conversation he had with the team, is refusing their help for his mental health issues that he's having off the court. So, I mean, what do we think of this? It was like, all right, maybe they kind of reconciled somewhat where they can make this thing work for the season until they can get him out of there, but he's still on the same type of time.
I don't even know what's going on with that guy over there. To me, it seems like he tried to use that as an excuse to kind of get out of it. Obviously, he doesn't want to be there, but he had to fix his image. So he fixed his image by saying he's having mental issues. Then maybe try to boost his trade value so teams will look like, okay, he has other things going on. He's not just being a problem to the team, so maybe his trade value can go up. Obviously, that didn't work for him, so now he's kind of back at the drawing board. And your brother says he's going to the Knicks.
He's not going to the Knicks. First of all, the Knicks do not need that. Trust me, they good with what they have right now. Like the Knicks would make it hard for Philly if they played them right now. Well, they already blew them out. That was one of the reasons why I was like, yo, I'm kind of starting to believe in them. But even with Ben Simmons, I think the Knicks would make it hard on Philly. The Knicks do not need Ben Simmons. I don't think they want Ben Simmons like that with everything he got. Ben Simmons need to learn how to shoot before he. Ben Simmons can't even handle Philadelphia. And Philadelphia is very, as far as their fan base goes, is very similar to New York. So if Ben Simmons can't handle Philadelphia, ain't no way he coming to New York.
I second everything you just said. I think the Knicks have something good going right now. If he's gonna go to New York, it'd probably be the Nets. Ben for Kyrie.
Yeah, and if well, we talked about that before. If the Nets virtually unbeatable if he ends up over there, just because they got their two scores, and then what he brings to the game, he doesn't have to shoot. He's an elite defender. He could just open up spots for those guys with his passing ability. Like that'd be scary, but I don't think that's gonna happen. But I digress.
You brought up the you think it might be the Knicks versus the Bulls. If the Knicks play the Bulls, who you got winning that series?
The Knicks, but that's gonna be fire though. Like that's a 7-game series.
That's tough.
Because they played the Bulls and you saw like Lonzo's a big reason why they've been so successful, even though that game came down to the wire because of like some lapses there from the Knicks. Like they did such a good job on Lonzo with their defense that like if you can shut him out, that like it's similar to what we've talked about in the past when the playoffs with guys like Rajon Rondo. If you can shut him down, you're taking the team out of it because you got those scores like Zach LaVine over there. But if you don't have that guy facilitating like Lonzo does, then that hurts. So I would take the Knicks just off of that. But that's a 7-game series though. I'm here for it. Like
I get what you're saying, but in a sense, if I'm Billy Donovan, if Lonzo's not going to play that well, you could sit Lonzo and throw LaVine at the point. Obviously, you lose some playmaking, but you'll still be okay at the point where like it won't be that big of an issue. So I would do that, and then you can move. Can't think of his name right now. DeMar DeRozan back to the 2, and then you still got Vucevic. You have enough scoring to go around where like Zach LaVine just needs to like barely pass the ball, and you'll be all right without Lonzo because you could throw it. You throw it into Vuce a couple times in the post. You give it to DeRozan and get out the way, spot up. They should be good. They could be good without Lonzo in that series.
Hey, so who is that a 7-game series though for you? That's 7-game series for me.
Yeah. Then it might come down to who has home court advantage. Right now, off the top of my head, I think I'll take the Bulls.
It's the year of the New York Knicks, bro.
Right. I just think in a playoff series, I think the Bulls will have more firepower when it comes down to it.
I'm not saying you're wrong as far as firepower goes because the shooters they got over there is great. Like LaVine is just something different. I bet Minnesota wishes they still had him over there. And then they put a really good team together around him. I just like because the Knicks have their offense is crazy too. And I'm not gonna say I completely agree. I'm not gonna say I completely agree with Rashad on the Knicks having the best bench in the league, but they damn near do like close to like they're up there. Like that's an argument to be had about the Knicks bench. Like that bench is real between Obi Toppin. Emmanuel quickly still needs to find himself, but we know he's there. Derrick Rose should be in the conversation for 6th man of the year. Like they are seriously legit over there. But like aside from that, like that defense, I can't sleep on it. Defense in any sport, defense wins championships, and their defense. I'm not saying they're gonna win a championship, but their defense is real. Their defense is serious.
Well, yeah, you expect that from Tibbs. The defense was real last year. Obviously, last year in the playoffs, their problem was just offense. They didn't
have the team last year that they have this year. Like it's a whole nother conversation now.
I agree. Maybe I like that. I agree. It's 7. It could go either way. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Knicks win. Off the top of my head, though, I would take the Bulls. No hate towards the Knicks, though. No hate towards the Knicks, though. But it could go either way.
All right.
I see what you guys are saying about the bench, though, because I don't really know too much about the Bulls bench besides the ball guy that came from LA. I can't think of his name right now. Caruso. Oh, Caruso, yeah. Besides Caruso, I don't really know who's on their bench over there. So I get The bench really might be the difference. I agree with Hodge. Or I guess with everybody. The bench would probably be the
Not nothing
difference.
spectacular though. Like Caruso's definitely a player, but not nothing spectacular outside of what he's doing.
And I can see him
Um,
getting shut down. Especially if you shut down Lazo and you got to move Levine to the point, it could cause some problems. Because that it takes away a little bit from him.
I got one more, but obviously everybody in the chat could chime in on this. I got one more though that I feel like we should get into. I should have asked it when Rashad was on, but whatever. Let's go back to that 2019 draft. Yeah, let's go back to that 2019 draft. Picks 1, 2, and 3. Right. Zion Williamson was the prize of the draft. Then there was Ja Morant and RJ Barrett. Let's look in hindsight now. JJ Redick, who was teammates with Zion Williamson at one point, came out and said, when asked about if Pelicans fans should be worried about him staying or going, his answer was they should just be worried about him in general and his health, which is true. He has not been healthy. I know the one story that came out was they were shocked when he came back because he had just ballooned up. He was not in shape at all. And that's been the biggest concern for everybody from when he came out of the draft. Like that gumbo is good over there. That gumbo is real good in Louisiana and New Orleans. And the Mardi Gras and all that. I'm sure he's having a fun time.
Rich, are you about to say what we think you're about to say?
Let me finish. The best ability is availability. He has not been available like that. So we see RJ Barrett is really coming into his own. Ja Morant won Rookie of the Year for a reason, and he's just been for real the entire time. Who won that draft right now? This is year 3. Like who? But look, Ja Morant and RJ Barrett been in the playoffs. Zion Williamson ain't been to the playoffs. He ain't even playing 82 like that. Like who would you rather have right now? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, in hindsight, obviously Memphis won the draft. Memphis won it. But if you remember, a lot of people thought the Knicks lost for the fact that they fell to 3 and ended up with RJ. In hindsight, the Knicks did not lose in the sense that people thought they were going to lose. People thought that them falling out of that top 2 is this big thing. They might be happy that they fell out of that top 2. Obviously, you would want Ja. But if you were 1 and you ended up with Zion, obviously maybe in New York is a different case. But you end up with RJ, and it's like you may have turned out better than New Orleans did. So they didn't lose in the sense that people thought back then. So it's more of a win for them.
I think the Knicks falling to 3 in that draft was like the best thing that could have ever happened to them.
No,
I don't know.
No. If they fell to 2, that'd have been the best thing that could happen to them there. 3 was the second best thing that could happen.
Look, it's all about where you end up to. Like, and I think Ja would have killed anywhere that he went, but I think the situation that he was in Memphis just is really good for him. And then the other thing, when it comes, especially in New York, you got to be able to handle what comes with playing in New York and want to deal with it. RJ from day one, draft night, was like, you saw that he was excited that he was a Knick. Not every time that a guy's been drafted to New York have you seen that excitement.
But have you seen Ja? Ja doesn't shy away from, like, Ja's not like someone that would be upset or fall down to that New York media. I think Ja would embrace that and take that on too. So I think that'd be probably more of motivation. You get him in the Garden, bro. If you had Ja in the Garden right now, you know what type of things would be going on. Like,
it would have been a showstopper because he's West 2.0.
If Ja's in the Garden right now, a superstar would want to go there right now. Like I can see a superstar forcing the trade to New York to go play with him right now.
Ja's not there right now, and superstars low-key want to go to New York now. Kemba to New York a couple years ago wasn't realistic. He said it.
Sure, but
it went to Boston. He could have signed with New York back then.
But is it more people, like, obviously people want to go to New York now. I'm not saying that, but Kemba's career a couple years ago is not Kemba that signed, not player wise, but like the way people were looking at him wise was not the same when he left Boston.
B. Hodge just brought up the best point of why I said what I said. if the draft doesn't fall the way that it does, like the Knicks team that we see right now just isn't the same. Like he said he doesn't think Jules would have had the breakout year that he had. I gotta agree with that.
I could see because the ball would be in Josh's hand a little more, but that's just like playing with a great player would have made it easier for Julius Randle. So like in a sense, maybe he's not has the breakout year that we seen, but it's possible he still played very well and had a breakout year just in a different sense, in a different way, where it's like not as ball dominant. And if you look at that playoff series last year, if he wasn't as ball dominant and he was breaking out like that, it might have worked out better.
The other thing too that I got to bring up in hindsight, because this is one of the biggest arguments I got in with people back then, but like early on in that NCAA season with Duke, was that if you asked people around the team, none of them were going to tell you Zion was the best player on that team. RJ Barrett was the number one player in the country. And a lot of people early on thought he was the best player on that team. That's one of the reasons why I'm not at the end. We all knew he was the number one pick. I'm talking about when the talk first formed, it was RJ should be the number one pick in this draft. Before we knew much about Ja Morant and before it was like apparent that Zion's the guy.
Yeah, that's true. And at Duke, he showed that he couldn't go right as much as people thought. He showed that he maybe wasn't that player yet. Obviously, the potential was there, being that number one pick. I mean, being the number one player in the nation coming in. But I think Cam Reddish deserved a lot of consideration for that too. Obviously, he was a later pick, but I think he sacrificed a lot going to Duke. I think me and Hodge might have been looking at this video when you asked like Anthony Edwards and them who was like the toughest player they had to play against. It was Cam Reddish. So like Cam Reddish might have been up there too if he decided not to go to Duke.
Yeah, I mean, we ended up with Tyler Hero, so I wasn't mad, but I did want the Heat to take Cam Reddish. But also since you brought him up, he got cooked by Matisse Thybulle the other night on defense.
It happens. It happens. Matisse Thybulle, even coming out, he was looked at as like solid defender, and he showed last year that he's going to be a solid defender, especially as he learns more. And I do think Ja would lead Ja to a 4th seed last year. He led Memphis to the 8th seed last year. He beat Steph Curry and them in that playing game. And that's in the West. That's in the Western Conference.
Look at the team though. Look at the team that he has around him. Like I just don't think the Knicks team is the same with him there. I don't think Jules breaks out like he does. I don't, what's the dynamic with Derrick Rose over there? Like there's a lot of moving pieces that wouldn't be there, don't play the way that they do if he's there. And he's special. I think he would have been good as a Knick, but I just think this is the best case scenario for the Knicks, having RJ Barrett.
It may be, but obviously if he's there, you may make different moves in a sense. I guess Tibbs is going to bring back D Rose no matter what, but D Rose, you can move him off guard. I don't know. It could happen. It's a lot that would have changed if he was there. Because like I said, maybe you don't make certain moves with him there in mind. But I still think he could have led you out to a 4 seed. If he can leave Memphis, and a lot of people are high on that Memphis roster. I think Memphis roster this year is a lot better than they've been in the past. Obviously, Dylan Brooks has been better than I expected. And your man Jaren Jackson, you see what happened to him in the playoffs last year. I am not. The people were trying to compare him to KD. Like I've never been that high on that guy.
It was year one of the playoffs. It was first year in the playoffs. They go back around to it. Let's have a conversation about it in the postseason this year.
I've never been that high on him. He's gonna be a solid player. I've never been that high on him. I think Ja could have let Ja to a 4 seed. And it's not okay. And it's not like RJ was the main person who led Ja there. So
nah, but he did his thing last year. And that's what I mean. He's only progressing. Like I really like his progression from year 1 to year 2 to year 3.
He said RJ is a better complementary player. Right?
I agree.
But like it's not like y'all have 2 superstars and you need a complementary player around them. Like y'all have Julius Randle, who's a very good player right now. But like y'all can still use a star.
Jules is all-star. They got a nice 3 over there. They got a nice 3 over there between Jules, RJ Barrett and Kemba Walker. And I said it to somebody else on the phone. Kemba's going to average about 18, 19 this year. And if he can give you about 18, 19 this year, you're solid off that already. And then he's going to have his moments where he gives you cardiac Kemba. Like, expect cardiac Kemba at least one time in the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with that. Obviously, we know what Kemba can do. And I think, and I said that when they picked him up, that is a move that's going to help them a lot come playoff time. You get the ball out of Julius Randle's hand as much. And if anything, you run pick and roll with those two. But he's someone you can give the ball to. He can get you a three. He can get to the basket. He's going to do what D Rose kind of did for y'all. It's another, I don't want to say another D Rose, but he's going to give you that same type of effect. And you saw what D Rose did for them in the playoffs.
Right. Oh, I mean, I guess we're going to have to agree to disagree on that one. But I mean, exciting stuff. Exciting stuff indeed. I really don't got too much to add on. I don't know if you want to throw something in before we get out of here.
Nah, I think that's it. Not unless anyone else. We did say we are gonna get Tim up here, but Tim, if you're still here, you want to come up, you can come up. If not, we got you next week. We can plan that for next week. Shout out to Rashard for coming up here.
Let's get Tim on here next week. For sure. Like, let's plan that accordingly, just so we got everything worked out the way that it should be. Because I like that take a lot, and I think especially if we get another weekend to see how they play, we can definitely revisit that next week.
We have to get another Knick fan up here next week. It's gonna be
Tony. We're gonna get Tony on here. We're gonna get Tony on here.
All right.
Debut.
All right, Tony, pull up.
Son?
We got Tony in here. Did your dad come over here once? Like, he randomly popped up on us once?
Live. We did. I did an interview with him where we just talked about the history of New York sports, but not live though.
All right. Well, Tony, we got you. You up here next week. Let's get it.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks everybody for tuning in, man. It's been a while since we was that lit. Shout out to Shad and shout out to you guys for tuning in. This was a good one. Yeah, man. We gonna see you guys next week, man. Let's go.